Welcome back. Welcome to another edition of Nain Shorts. Sorry we missed you last week. We had quite a few things going on, didn't we? It's like medical and issues and anyways, life, it gets in the way, so we were unable to be here. But we are now back, and today my lovely assistant Eric has opted out to switch places with my lovely child. This is Nisa. Nisa, say hello to everybody, those who know her. Great person. Those who don't, still a great person. But welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
A little nervous?
A little bit.
Yeah, it's okay. Just kind of threw you in here. Like said, hey, by the way, you're going to be on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that sucks. Huh? But it's kind of trial by fire in a sense because a part of training is always going to be in your mind. And not in reference to remembering the techniques or the art, but really, how do you feel when you're put in an awkward situation, when you're in an uncomfortable place? Because when you're fighting, I mean, if you're fighting for your self-protection, you're going to be uncomfortable. Your adrenaline is going to be spiked. I mean,
Right.
We've had drills where we actually put you against adults. Like, how does that feel compared to this?
It's a different kind of nervous. It's like, to explain how I feel right now, it's more of just like, oh, my heart's racing a little bit. There's a little lump in my throat, and it's like, oh, I don't know what to say. What if I mess up? But with that, it's
No
like,
script.
with that, it's like, oh, fighting against an adult, especially an adult I don't know.
Right.
It's like, if I mess up here, I could seriously hurt somebody or seriously get hurt. So it's more kind of like I need to focus on protecting myself nervous. This is more of just a like, oh, I hope my voice doesn't crack. I'm kind of nervous.
Well, and that's a great distinction because the way we process that information, and I love that you said that because I've been thinking a lot about like the physiological response. You know, sweaty palms. You know, you get clammy, you get butterflies in your stomach. All that. That's all a chemical reaction that happens in your body.
Right.
Like literally, your brain tells certain parts of your body to stop working. That's why you feel like you have butterflies. Your stomach stops digesting.
Right.
Blood flow to your arms slows down. So if you lose a limb, you can still run and not bleed out automatically.
Right.
Like all these little things happen to your body. But the funny thing about it is that whether you're excited, whether you're scared, whether you're about to confess to the person you love, your body reacts the same, but your mind thinks it's different because of how you're looking at it. So just like right now, you're feeling the same nervousness physically,
Right.
but in your head, they're two very different things. So you process that information differently, but your body's reacting the same way. So it's funny how that happens. So the mindset really becomes very important. And a lot of what we talk about here is exactly that. It's the mindset behind things, like what's going through your head as you're doing this. And for a lot of people, for students, they fall into categories of, okay, I'm really good at it and I'm getting attention from the teacher because I'm excelling, or I'm not that good at it and I just kind of want to stay in the back of the class and work at it and work at it.
Yeah.
But then you don't really get a lot of attention. And then you have those students kind of in the middle where they are really close to the teacher, but they're not that great, so they still kind of get left behind, but the teacher does rely on them in other ways.
Right.
You find yourself in a very unique situation because you are my child,
Right.
the head instructor of our class. How does that feel?
It does kind of feel like, well, I mean, because of the sort of people we train with, I feel like I have less of a leadership status and I feel more like a student. And that's only because I felt accepted into that specific group. Maybe it's because of like all the time I spend with them. Maybe it's because I know some of them personally outside of class.
Okay.
Maybe it's because you raising me, you've taught me a certain way to be able to connect with people my age, younger or older, and be able to have a normal conversation and get comfortable and, you know, spend time with them like I would any other person. But I think it's more like I'm able to ground myself and tell myself that I'm not supposed to be the leader of these people, but I'm not necessarily a follower either. Like,
I like that.
like I can take criticism,
Right.
and I can accept whatever the other person is telling me, but then I also feel comfortable giving it back because I know they won't lash out. Like, maybe a stranger would.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually criticism is taken more as an insult and less as a helpful lesson.
No, that's a good way to put it. So do you feel like you have an added pressure to give like positive or good feedback, criticism to the other students because you are my child?
No.
No?
I think the way that we teach is very different. But
Also.
I don't think that I have a role in the class to tell other people what or how to do something. But what I can do as a friend or as a somewhat colleague of these people is let them know what I saw and how it was different from what I felt like I did. And they can do the same with me.
Oh. So you're sharing your own perspective and then they share theirs and you get a better picture of what's happening.
Right, that's how you build both an emotional and a physical connection with whoever you're talking to.
Huh. Okay, so it's not a matter of dominance or, oh, I'm this, I'm that. It's like, oh, that's a good point. Here's my point, or here's my point of view.
Right, like, I'm willing to take anything that anyone says into consideration. It's just about the way they present themselves and what they're saying.
Okay. So then it really isn't so much then the information, it's how you give the information.
Yeah, because you can really tell when someone's trying to give you honest feedback, and then when someone's trying to be honest, but they're being blatant rude.
It's just being dicks.
Yeah.
It's okay, I can say it. I'm an adult.
Like, body language and tone, it all relates back to the fact that people can be as honest as they can to everybody that they'll ever encounter and still give off a sort of vibe that that other person is definitely going to feel. It's somewhat of like a automatic response that we have as humans, I guess.
Oh. Alright, that's a lot to digest right now. As you guys can see, my child is a lot smarter than I am. Rico says it all the time, but I think this is the first time we're having a conversation with them. It's real. And as a dad, I should be a little bit ashamed, but I'm actually incredibly proud of the fact that, yeah, no, Nisa is definitely smarter than I am. So how is this helping you in your journey with the martial arts? Like, how has it progressed to this point?
It's helped me focus more on what I'm doing and how I'm progressing both as a person and as a student, because I like to separate the two.
What do you mean?
Well, as a person, I think I'm good at communicating with people and putting myself in uncomfortable situations just to, get it over with. Just like this. But I also think that as a student, I can do the exact same thing, just in a different scenario.
Okay. And how does that translate to the actual physical stuff?
Well, when it comes to me doing stuff with sticks, without sticks, or play knives, doing it by myself or with another person, I think that class has sort of taught me to relate that to social settings. How to act in like such a different way to where I can be like super nervous and freaking out on the inside, but I can still get what I need to get done. And the other person will see it as like, oh, you're totally fine with this. You are like so nonchalant.
Holy crap. Dude, what have we been teaching them?
Yeah, she's smarter than you.
Jesus Christ. No, okay, that's like super eye-opening.
Right.
And I'm kind of mad we haven't had this conversation off camera because I really don't want to be on screen right now because my eyes are like actually tearing up. I'm like, holy crap. I mean,
like, I don't mind talking about class,
right.
And I'm gonna be honest, at first it was like, class, I don't want to have to do this every Sunday. Like, weekends are supposed to be for hanging out. But
yeah, I can see it.
now it's become less of something that I think I have to do and more something that I get to do. Because I can now see that compared to when I started and now, I'm a lot more observant of a lot of things.
Really?
People and just being outside. Like, alerts are going off in my head, but it's not like an alert that makes me scared. It's an alert that's like, I can see that even without having to look at it. And even if it's just like a mental picture, it helps me be able to get through my daily life without being scared that something is going to happen to me.
Holy crap. I mean, I love what you're saying because that's ultimately like our goal. It's not to create killers. It literally is to have people, especially people your age,
Right.
walk through life comfortably. I mean, school is annoying as hell already, and people your age, I mean, I'm sorry, they suck.
Oh yeah, we're total assholes. It's all right.
Yes.
I can
yes.
say that I'm his kid.
and it just makes life that much more difficult. But the fact that you have that, let's call it, I don't even want to call it an armor. It's more of a just your protection to be, inside I'm freaking out, but I'm gonna stay calm, collected, and I'm not gonna let this person get the best of me.
Yeah.
Like that, dude, I'm so proud of you, kid. Like I
Thank you.
really am. And I hope that's also relating to the other students. But ultimately, the translation of everything that we're doing is mental, of course. And you personified that to such a degree.
Right.
I mean, because you have to keep in mind, folks, they were 4 years old when I started training. They're 14 now. So they've seen me on the mat. They've grown up with me training at home. Remember the tree?
Oh yeah. I do
Yeah.
remember the tree.
Tap 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 tap, hundreds of times a day. Like that was what they heard. That's what they grew up with. So how does it feel now to go from all that information to actually swinging sticks?
It almost feels like it's something that I've always wanted to do, but I didn't understand why you did it. But hearing like your personal experience and how much training has changed your life, like outside of class, it's given me sort of motivation to continue doing it myself because I want to see where that leads to. I want to see how much I change from beginning to end, whatever the end may be, if it does end at one point.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't expect you to be like me because I'm kind of crazy with the whole for life thing. Like, folks, I just helped somebody with a black belt test and I fractured my toe. So that's like it's actually my first broken bone. Yay!
Yay.
And it doesn't really faze me. I'm still going to work. I'm like, all right, I taped it up and just kind of keep on moving. So for me, it's that dedication that I intend to have for my entire life. So I don't expect that from you either, but I like where your mind is at. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to see where your mind is in reference to the physical movements. What's the last thing that we worked on, and could you demonstrate to me what it is you remember? Not necessarily what we taught, but what did you see?
Okay.
All right?
So, from what I can recollect
Uh-huh.
from class last week, it was a mixture of what came out of Sinawali
Mm-hmm.
and some foot movements.
Okay.
But I think out of those foot movements, it
Mhm.
was just moving foot back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it was.
Footwork, yeah.
Yeah. It's just backwards footwork though.
Right.
So it was a 1 and then a downwards 1.
Okay. Oh, so the exercise itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just that, and you each had to step back and
Mhm.
switch back and forth.
Okay. And how did that, or what stood out for you on that?
I think it was the rhythm, the motion that people started taking.
Mhm.
Because if you saw, after everyone started doing it, like with their own individual groups,
Mhm.
everyone started syncing up at one point. Which just proves that even if someone in class isn't paying attention, that stuff is still getting stuck in their head. So all those rhythms and patterns are getting stuck, kind of like how a song keeps looping in your head over and over again. So no matter how hard they try to get it out of their head, or even if they don't realize that it's there, it's still going to come back because the atmosphere and being around the certain people that they're
Right.
with every Sunday, it kind of just flicks that switch. So then they circle back to whatever that feeling and that moment
Yeah.
they were in was.
Whoa, I never even considered that. So wait, let's. I know it's a double stick, but let's just show the one side, right? So that's it, right? Just.
Yeah.
So this rhythm, back,
Yeah.
Clack, 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 clack. Yeah, because I automatically want to throw the second one because
Right.
it's a double stick exercise.
Like, that's that feeling.
Uh-huh.
Like, you know when... And this is a little gory, I gotta admit. But, like, when a limb is amputated and there's that phantom pain that's... just listen.
Okay, yeah.
And there's, like, that phantom pain.
Yeah.
You've heard about it, right?
Dude,
like, that feeling that that thing is still there.
Yeah, I have the book.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, that feeling that that thing that's gone is still there, even if they're not in the same place that they were when they were in class, coming back to class brings all that back because they're in the same space that they were when it happened.
So then the sound triggers the...
Like the sound, the feeling, like going back to a place that brings you to a certain feeling, or whether it be a smell or a memory, you're going to feel that same feeling that you felt when you did whatever it was that is now stuck in your head.
So now challenge. What does that become for you? How would you use that in a fight?
In a real fight? Like just random street fight?
Yeah, or let's say we both have sticks.
Okay.
And I'm going to swing at your head.
Right.
How would you use it?
I think that I would...
I'm just going to swing at you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's see how you use it.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Oh!
And if there was more space, I'd probably continue on from there, but...
No, I'm glad because I know what you were going to do next. You were going to swing at my head.
Yeah,
I saw that.
But I did.
I don't know if you caught it, folks, but as I swung, they actually hit my empty hand across to my weapon hand, and that was enough pain. Like they actually made contact. Surprised the hell out of me. So why'd you come up with that?
Because you taught me that hitting the weapon can only do so much to a certain point, but if the person still has that weapon in their hand, if you keep focusing on the weapon, you're not going to progress. Nothing's going to happen. You won't be losing the fight, but you won't necessarily be winning either. You'll be stuck in that one place. And the worst place to be in a fight is stuck. Anywhere.
Holy crap. Anything else you want to show before? Anything else popped into your head while we're doing this?
I mean, if you're talking like personally,
Yeah.
it all just relates back to that mental thing.
Okay.
That thing you have to think about. Class, to me, is just a space where I feel like that I can really focus on what's going on up here and less is what's going on out here.
All right.
Because the stuff out here is usually what stresses people out.
Yeah.
The stuff they're seeing, but not the stuff they're thinking about. The stuff they're thinking about is just, it's stuck in their head. It's what they keep to themselves, and that's usually how people like it, kept to themselves. That's why no one's nervous sitting alone thinking, but everyone's nervous, like, outside,
in a crowded room or,
worried that they're going to slip up or do something wrong.
All right. Well, do you remember sombrado?
Somewhat?
Okay.
You might have to remind me.
So, where do you go? All the way through, right? Next.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what was the lesson that we learned from this? Keep going.
Oh.
Keep your thoughts in your head as you're taking care of the physical. Break the drill. Okay. Can you break it in a way that's not going to hurt me?
Oh.
Yeah. You went straight for my head, dude. Come on.
My bad.
Some control. Go. Okay, now you're just showing off. Stop it. We good?
Yep.
Okay, well, if you don't mind sitting back down. I know, you got nervous there towards the end, huh?
A little bit.
Yeah, I saw you like kind of deer in the headlights. How do you overcome that? Hi, Lucci.
Personally, I don't have a lot of advice for anybody else because I don't know how everyone deals with their anxiety or stress. But just me, sometimes I find it hard to get over. So what I remember is that if someone's asking for my idea of something, nothing I say will mess up their train of thought or my train of thought. Because someone asking for my personal idea, it's just anything I can give them. And then we can turn that into a bigger conversation if they're willing to.
Okay. All right. So let's turn this into a bigger conversation. What were you trying to do, and were you able to do it?
When you said break the cycle, what I immediately thought of is just something that you were familiar with and that I was familiar with that I could do that was somewhat different, but not totally different from the sombrada.
Oh, so you kept it within the
Right.
the rhythm of it. Because at one point I was just swinging and you were just tap, 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 tap. Like you maintained the rhythm completely, but you just went lazily just, I'm just going to do this. That's all I need to do.
But it worked though, for that split second. That's the funny part, is that it worked.
You have me there. You're absolutely right. Wow, Nisa, I've learned a lot about what we do and how well it's working. So thank you for joining me today. I mean, I really appreciate it. I hope the folks liked it very much. This was an awesome show, so thank you again. And for you folks, whatever you're taking away from your training, take some time to really analyze that and ask yourself those questions. Like, what are you getting outside of the physical stuff, and how is that helping you in your life? Because there's a lot of benefits to be had if we really think about it in the right context. So thank you very much for joining me on another one of Nain's Shorts. Lucci wants my undivided attention, so to the next one, as usual, 3, 2, 1, cut! Now you leave?